Hello viewers everywhere. I'm so pleased to be reaching bowlers from all around the world. Canada, South Africa, Australia, and Australia, South Africa, Hong Kong and New Zealand are over 22% of my viewers. I love it, so keep watching please. It is indeed a game played all over the world, and I chose those names: Australia, South Africa, New Zealand and Hong Kong as well. They also love cricket, and if I was a cricket coach and I was talking to you about tactics, it would be a long session because tactics is a huge thing in cricket. But is it in bowls, tactics? I believe it is. What are tactics? They're short-term actions that help you achieve your long-term vision or plan. So, if you want to be a good, happy, successful bowler, that's your strategy. Your tactics might be to practice and improve your game, integrate bowls into your lifestyle, and take various actions to maximize your chances when playing opponents. I've already run a series of videos on techniques and tips, so today I'm going to concentrate on tactics when playing your opponent. Nothing underhand or shifty, nothing against the rules or good etiquette, nothing unsportsmanlike, we hope. I'm going to share with you the tactics that I've used or come across and put them in order of before a game, early in a game, and towards the end of a game. So, before the game, arrange your game on a time and day that suits you, if you can. Arrange your game on a rink that suits you or you suspect will not suit your opponent, e.g. Running the green or playing on a ditch rink. So if an opponent was coming here and we knew that he was from a wide open 6 rink green with only 2 ditches, maybe we'd bowl on one of the ditch rinks. Practice on a similar rink if you can beforehand, even on the actual rink, as long as it's not on the same day. When I was in my 30s and trying to make my way, I had a bowls quarter-final in Sussex. It was the outdoors unbadged singles on a neutral green in Hove. The snag was I was on holiday in Yorkshire at the time. So, what did I do? I drove down the day before. I went to that green that we were playing the quarter-final on and managed to get a roll-up down there. It may have even been on the same rink. Can't remember now. I played the game the next evening, won a tight game and drove back to Yorkshire the next morning. I prepared in a similar way for the semi-final and final and managed to win the title. And we'll now have a look at the picture, an old grainy picture of me in 1983, and showing me, doesn't look much like me now, but that was me. I've never repeated that level of dedication. How could I? And I did fall foul of one of my tactics in another big game, the Essex Indoors 2011 Singles Champion of Champions final. I had this theory: if you win the toss, when you give the mat away, do you give the mat away or not? Well, my opponent was James Rippey. He was playing at we were playing at Chelmsford, his home rink. So I had a theory that if I was playing away, I would opt for a short jack. My theory being that players at home get used to bowling 3/4 and full length. They tend not to go for the short ones. They just get a bit complacent. So I thought, right, I'll take the mat, bowl a short jack. But what happened? Well, on the first end, I'll show you what happened. I'm in red, and with one bowl to go, I was 3 down. And with my last bowl, I got quite a good second. It was somewhere about there, let's say. I think it was like that. It was second, but it wasn't bad. I think it wasn't a takeout shot. and I walk back and I puff my cheeks out, think, thank goodness, second wood. And then my opponent bowled it, and I don't know how he did it because it wasn't straightforward, but he somehow got in there and the bowl went there and then just fell over. And I lost a 4 on the first end. So I thought afterwards, perhaps that was the wrong tactic. Should I have given the mat away? That would have shown me where James wanted to bowl, and I would have had the last bowl. I could have fired my way out of trouble. And I always think to this day I used the wrong tactic, but we'll never know. I was always a slightly nervous starter, and quite often when you're like that, you just give an extra push to the bowl, and I think that's what happened in that game. But I mean, generally, I like to bowl first, put pressure on. If you've got any thoughts on this, how you start the game, please let me know. In the game is underway. The first few ends are a fact-finding time. The information you glean, you can adjust the mat, the length, which hand to bowl, and you try all these sorts of things to get a foothold in the game and get on top. If you tried all these things, however, and the game is slipping away a bit, try a weighted bowl or even a firing shot. Break up the head, break up the rhythm. I've found that this can sometimes turn around the shots, unsettle the opposition, and help you to loosen up, because if you're a bit tense, there's nothing like a firing shot to scatter the bowls and loosen up your muscles and relax. Another tactic is to follow your bowl down to the end, to run behind it. I often did this on the third bowl. This can disrupt your opponent and give you breathing space to regroup if you're under pressure. You also get an exact view of the head. You have to get down behind the head before your bowl comes to rest. I'll give you a demonstration of this. You have to go quickly but not run. So if I go down the other end and show you how to do this. So here I am, just going to bowl down. You have to start off very quickly. So here we go. Didn't quite. See, now I've got past the bowl, not on there, but you have to get past the bowl before it stops. Don't be afraid to come down and look at the head, as long as you're allowed. In some of the shorter games, that's not allowed to keep going up and down, but in a competition, you're normally free to come down and look at the head. Don't worry about that, particularly in singles, because you've got no skip to tell you how the head lays, and it's often much different than it looks from the other end. During the game, be adaptable. Don't get fixed ideas and stick to them. You may have to change your hand or vary your length. And I've fallen foul. I've had a predetermined thought about where to bowl, bowled the wrong hand, lost a game. You have to be adaptable and early enough to regroup. One way of fooling the opponent, stick to one hand, stick to the mat in one position, but kind of subtly change the length of the jack. So what you do then, you bowl a jack and almost don't worry about where the jack goes, but because you're delivering it, you've got a feel for where it is. You know your line, twiddle with that jack length, and those subtle changes can put your... You have, that's 3 jacks down there, just to give you an idea, different lengths. You controlling the length, you've got the feel, so that can fool your opponent sometimes. Another tactic is, if you're being out bowled on one of your hands, it can be a singles or another game, and it happened to me the other day, somebody was bowling narrow, and it was coming in front of my draw shot. And that is something you can deliberately do that. So for example, on this head here, if somebody keeps getting in on these black bowls, keeps getting in time after time, you need to block your opponent's draw shot. And one way to do that is to draw across the head to come a yard in front where I'm placing that bowl there, and that stops that draw shot and forces them to change hand, which that change will disrupt them, won't be able to get in. So that's a good tactic to use if you're under pressure by somebody who's drawing into the head relentlessly. If your drawing is not working, even though in theory that is the right shot, put a yard on and come through the opposition's shot bowls. Try and be rational, not desperate. I'll show this in this head. So here we are. There's a draw-in shot and it looks fairly open and it's on, and normally if you were playing the draw shot well, that is a shot you'd use. But you're not, so try something different and break up these bowls here and change the head around, change the dynamics of it, get something out of the system and reset the head. So I'm just going to show here a little runner here through the head with the red bowl. In fact, it knocked the jack, but it could equally have dispersed the bowls. But somewhere in, and the chances are you can change the head around and dismay the opponent. Towards the end of the game, if you have a good lead, make sure you cover the opposition bowls. Don't gamble, sometimes accept one down. Looking at this head, the opposition black bowl has got a lovely shot just in front, very difficult to get off. If you go chasing that and you'll run past and don't hit the black, the opposition black bowl players can keep adding shots in while you keep running through. It's best if you've got a lead to accept one down sometimes. And also you can put bowls, try and draw, instead of running through, try and draw close and get a close second. If you do that, you'll find that you can cut the shots down to one and even give opposition, here the bowls, if you have the bowls close there as good seconds, you can even use those and come off them. But if you try the running shot, because you're one down, you just can't bear to lose one shot, you could go many more down by the opposition clustering around the jack while you're running through. That has happened. If you are behind in a game, believe you can come back. I sometimes count the ends left and divide by the number of shots needed. The answer is often achievable, e.g. you're 6 down, 4 ends to go. That's only 1.5 shots an end. Aim for 1s and 2s. Look for scoring opportunities, of course, e.g. trails and takeouts. You may have chances to get woods round the head and leave others undefended. That's a bit of a gamble because you usually cover at the back. But if you need the shots, leave the bowls in the head sometimes and put pressure on the opponents. Another one to go for, of course, is a weighted bowl to take an opponent's bowl or go for a risky trail. But all of these things, you weigh up the risks, and if you're slipping away, they can sometimes turn the game round. Big leads can cause overconfidence in the opposition. I've been a 19-11 up and lost. I've been 11-0 down and won 21-13. So these big changeovers do happen. Please don't overstep the mark and treat your opponents with disrespect. These are just tactics, and for tactics to work, you have to be switched on. Try to be happy and relaxed, but concentrate when you have to. The next video is the blocking shot, and there is a tactic you can use when trying these blocking shots. If your skip or the number 3 is trying a blocking shot and it doesn't end up in exactly the right place, you can still call out "good shot" as if it really is in the way, because that can put the opponent off, and I think that's a fair comment. That's not too unsportsmanlike. As always, because the tactics can be a contentious thing, I look forward to your views on them. And please also subscribe. Thank you all for watching and see you soon. Goodbye.